Hello, dear friends. In this video, we'll look at the scientific evidence for the benefits and harms of alcohol in moderation. There is a group of people, or rather doctors, who actively advocate drinking alcohol every day. There's also an opposing group that says it's harmful. In 2018, the famous journal Lancet published a large-scale study in which it was shown that the use of alcohol, even in small quantities, leads to a 0.5% increase in the risk of mortality from all cases. Immediately, critics of this study were found, pointing out the many biases. They immediately began to claim that everything was completely wrong and dangerous. Let's take a look. So, what is moderate drinking? It is the consumption of no more than 1 drink by women and 2 drinks by men daily. What is 1 dose of alcohol? It is 14 grams of pure alcohol, which equals 35 grams of vodka, 100 grams of good red wine, or 300 grams of beer. If we exceed this norm, we already become heavy drinkers, that is, heavy consumers of alcohol. An interesting fact is that if we multiply the number of doses of alcohol by the number of days in a week, the safe dose for men goes up, namely 14 drinks per week. For women, 7 drinks. That's a lot. Multiply 7 by 70. So almost a bottle of vodka a week is the norm for a man if you stretch it out over 7 days. But if you drink that bottle in one sitting, it has the opposite effect. If a person consumes more than 5 doses of alcohol at one time in one day, and if it continues for more than 1 day a month, he is a binge drinker. In English, this translates as consuming a large amount of alcohol at one time. If this situation extends to 5 days a month or more, the person is already a heavy drinker. Therefore, these choices have nothing to do with health. What is harmful to alcohol? Alcohol in general, and above all its product, metabolism acetaldehyde, is a carcinogen. It primarily affects the gastrointestinal tract and can cause oncology, cancer of the mouth, larynx, esophagus, intestine, rectum, and even breast cancer. In addition, alcohol has a toxic effect on all our organs and tissues, on the brain and nervous system. As a result, the psyche is destroyed, nervous processes are disturbed, the cardiovascular system stops working as it should, and cardiomyopathy, hypertension, vascular damage, and kidney damage develop. The classic consequence of alcohol intake is alcoholic hepatitis and cirrhosis of the liver. In general, everyone knows about the unfavorable properties of alcohol. But the most interesting to us is, of course, the effects of small sustained doses of alcohol, what we call moderate drinking, over a long period of time. There have been many such studies. One of the most representative studies involved about 88,000 women and about 40,000 men. They drank about 1 dose of alcohol a day for 30 years, and it was found that the women had significantly increased rates of cancer of the digestive system, liver cancer, and most importantly, breast cancer. Men had no such processes. In other words, men did not have any increased risk of developing cancer. Interestingly enough, when they began to study further, it turned out that whether or not cancer would or would not occur with low-dose alcohol consumption depended a lot on how much folic acid was getting into the body. Folic acid is a vitamin that is essential for DNA synthesis. Lack of folic acid leads to disruption of DNA synthesis and the emergence of various mutations, which then become sources of cancer. It turns out that if you provide those people who drink alcohol, namely, give them at least 400 micrograms, that is the daily dose of folic acid, every time they drink 1 drink, the harmful effects of alcohol are leveled by 90%. There is a definite salvation in that. Now for the beneficial properties of alcohol. Numerous other studies have shown that people who consume small doses, 1 or 2 drinks a day, depending on whether they are male or female, reduce the incidence of cardiovascular disease and strokes by 25 to 40%. That is due to 2 factors. First, alcohol directly increases the amount of high-density protective proteins that protect our blood vessels from damage. Second, alcohol has a beneficial effect on the blood clotting system, preventing the formation of blood clots. As a result, there is less risk of heart attacks and strokes, that is, those conditions that develop when blood vessels are clogged with blood clots. Another good fact about alcohol is that it reduces the likelihood of type 2 diabetes by 30%. In other words, it reduces blood glucose levels and increases tissue sensitivity to insulin. The beneficial properties of alcohol depend on the type of the alcohol dehydrogenase enzyme. Alcohol dehydrogenase is an enzyme that processes alcohol. There are fast and slow enzymes. Those people who have predominantly rapid types of alcohol dehydrogenase have fewer health effects than those people who have slow alcohol dehydrogenase. In the blood of these people, alcohol circulates longer and has longer-lasting beneficial effects on high-density lipoproteins and the blood's anticoagulation system. The same goes for the impact on insulin levels. You might ask, if everything is so good, perhaps we should start drinking alcohol for prevention. No, you shouldn't. The fact is that alcohol as a preventive has no advantage over exercise and diet. Moreover, if you drink it in your 30s, for example, the risks from alcohol outweigh its potential benefits. If one is in one's 60s, it is still better to exercise and diet at that age. If there is an irresistible desire to drink alcohol, it is necessary to consult a doctor and analyze each case. Alcohol can be beneficial for some people, and for others, it is strictly forbidden. I want to note that I'm not calling for the use of alcohol here. I'm talking about those comrades who already use alcohol. I want to emphasize once again that it is nonsense and absurd to start drinking alcohol at any age, even in moderate doses, just for preventive effect for recovery. As for women of any age, even those who already have some risks of cardiovascular disease, they still should not take alcohol regularly because the risks of breast cancer, even balanced by folic acid intake, are still not zero. So, it's better to look for some alternative ways of prevention. And by the way, about the prevention of cardiovascular diseases. If a person has no relatives in the family who would suffer from heart attacks or strokes and would have diabetes mellitus of the second type, then the prophylactic intake of alcohol will not help them. That is, if a person already has a normal heredity, there is no point in taking alcohol to reduce the risk of having a stroke or heart attack. That is how evidence-based medicine deals with the use of small doses of alcohol. My attitude? I still believe that the risks of developing digestive cancers are not zero. If we can reduce them in any way, we should do so. That's why I don't drink alcohol regularly. Thank you very much for watching to the end. I'll provide links to the research in the description below this video. See you soon. Don't exceed your alcohol limit. Always for you, Dr. PopMed.